I read the part of your book that talks about testing and specifically like interviewing. And so I've long been like an advocate of asking people abstract questions because I want to hear them talk. I don't want to just hear like, here's what I did at this job and here's what I did at that job, because I know personally I would be really good in an interview. Like I could switch careers tomorrow. I could probably come like to your firm, interview with you. And if you didn't have like a process set up, I'm sure I could get a job. I'm a good talker. I would do good in an interview. I would do really well. And that doesn't always work out for people. It's not a surefire way of hiring. And so the book has all these tests that you do to make sure that people's personalities would sort of mesh with your firm's culture and all of the like your mission statement. And so I've crafted my questions in such a way that I've always gotten like the Google type questions, like, oh, if you were stuck in a blender and you were tiny, like how would you get out? I ask people like that. But there's one question that I really liked from the book. It's if you were an ingredient in a salad, what ingredient would you be? And the goal isn't really to get somebody to, sound embarrassed. I want to hear their reasoning. I want to hear, what they think of themselves. I want to hear if they're able to think on the spot and sort of give me, an elaborate answer that makes sense. And I thought it was funny. I don't know if this is a real life example, but I agreed with the person. They were like, I'm the salad dressing. I sort of bind everything together. I'm the flavor. I'm tasty. I'm zesty. And, I like salad dressing.
Yeah.
And,
you're picking up on the right point, but don't, you just don't lose whatever question you ask, do they get what you're getting at?
Okay.
So like, if you could be an animal, what animal would you be and why? And I'm a lawyer asking a legal secretary, an assistant, a lawyer, are they getting what I'm getting at? Do you feel me? Are we vibing here? Right? If you say, I'd be a dog, why? Because I like dogs. Not a great answer. They're not getting what I'm getting at, right? But if they say I'd be an eagle, why? Well, because eagles are strong and they're brave and they're bold and they stand for America. And I love America and I love being brave and I'm a kick-ass this or that. I mean, they know that I'm trying to get to know them. If they just give me some BS answer, then we don't get each other.
Yeah, it's almost like a little lazy too. Like you want somebody to put in the effort with you, and it's like it's sort of like the airport test. Like, do I like this person enough to work with them? And yeah, you want people to glean from a conversation what I'm getting at. I get what you're saying. I get what you're getting at. I'm so corny, man. So on the other side of that, you have all these tests that you've set up. And while I was reading this, I actually thought of my wife recently got a job like almost 2 years ago now. And they made her take a personality test. And she was so nervous. Oh, man, like, they asked me all these weird questions and they said it costs all this money and I have to be on time and this, that, the other. I was like, I think it's fine. I think it sounds kind of cool, actually. And I never really read into it until I read your book. So tell me what these sort of tests, and because it's not just personality tests, but tell me what these sort of tests help you do and tell you about a person and how they help you make better hiring decisions.
Well, it's a lot of detail and it's laid out in the book, but you get a nice report telling you about the person and telling you about their personality and telling you how smart they are and what kind of decision maker they are and how honest they are. And you also, Nick, can set up benchmarks. So, for example, okay, there's a Wonderlic test that a lot of people have heard of, I'm sure. All the football players use that. It's a pretty standard, well-known test. So I'm just going to use that one out of the 10 we use as an example. And it's not an IQ test, but it definitely tells you how smart someone is. And my COO, John, who maybe you'll meet one day and talk about all your geeky stuff, numbers and things, but he likes to say to me, this person tested a 32, just like, and he names 2 or 3 or 4 other people in my firm. So I know that this person, mine, works like those people. Some people test very low, depending on the job, may be an issue, may not be an issue. And so just knowing how somebody thinks, how smart somebody is, It tells a lot about their decision-making process, how they like to be trained, how, neat or not neat they are. But one thing that I was beginning to tell you, otherwise, you could do other types of testing. Let's say you have 3 of the greatest secretaries in the whole world. All 3 of those could take a test. And then when you test the next new secretary, are they kind of close to where those 3 superstars are? And if they're way below, then that person's not going to be probably as good as those 3, right? And so that saves you, the test might cost $1,000 or $1,500 for all the tests. But how much money do you waste training somebody who fizzles out in 3 to 6 months? That's a disaster. So I'd rather spend the money up front, try to make some better decisions. Now, we don't usually not hire or hire based just on the tests. It helps us ask better questions during the interview process. And it's just a tool to go along with the interview, to go along with potentially checking references, which I don't do a lot of, but it's just a tool. So we're not just hiring and firing on it, but I like to increase my chances of winning because I like to win, and anything I can do to do that, I do. And the testing process has definitely helped me with that.